So here we have a new 2025 Toyota Highlander. This one comes in the limited trim level. It's an all-wheel drive model. Blueprint is the paint color, and then we have black Softex interior. The powertrain consists of a 2.4-liter turbocharged 4-cylinder engine that's made it to an 8-speed automatic transmission. As we come around the front end here, sorry for the pollen, but LED headlamps along with the LED daytime running lights and LED fog lights. I like the front faces of the Highlanders ever since we got these in 2020. They still seem relatively modern. Really excited about the refresh though. Down here to these wheels, these are gonna be 20-inch chrome alloy. It's a big favorite of mine in the limited trim here. I love those wheels. But we have passive keyless entry on the front. Memory seat functions here. We have power folding mirrors. We have blind spot monitors in those mirrors. And then we have one-touch up and down windows on all 4 doors. Power door lock controls are here. Rear window lockout there. And then we have our heated steering wheel toggle, auto high beams, auto stop toggle, etc. This is for the trip meter, brightness of the gauge cluster. Little storage tray there. Gas cap, hood release, pedals. And then we do have the all-weather mats here. Manual tilt telescoping steering wheel. Then we do get a JBL sound system. But here's the power driver's seat with 2-way power lumbar support. Now I want to give a huge thanks to John Roberts Toyota here in Manchester, Tennessee for allowing me to review this Highlander today. I'll leave a link below in the description. If you're looking to find the best price on one of these closer to home, new or pre-owned, click that second or third link down below. It takes just a minute to fill out your information, and I'll make sure the local dealers are fighting to get you the best price on this or whatever vehicle you might be interested in. Now I have the seat up front adjusted for someone of my size, being 6'3" with longer legs, so we're gonna see how I can sit behind myself. In terms of the rear space, so legroom's pretty good here. The headliner allows the headroom to be fantastic as well. I'll show you that in a minute. But seat back pockets are on both sides. We do get our rear AC controls here, and then we have 2 USB-C ports down below and a 3-prong 120 volt down there. And there's a view of the front from back here. We do get the sunroof, there's a shade. And then as you come back here, the sides kind of scoop up to make more headroom as you're sitting in the back here. So that was a pretty nice move there, but we still have lights here. We still have our AC vents integrated in the roof. But again, it just gives you more space for your headroom. Bottle holders are here. Grab handle, you can hang a shirt or pair of pants there if you need to, maybe even both. But I like that we have 2 bottle holders on each side door. Lock and unlock for the child locks. And there is the gas cap. Yeah, all this pollen, I'm gonna have to take my Clarity when I get home. But there's a look at the back end. And I love how the tow hitch is integrated in that back bumper. Spares underneath, there's your exhaust as well. Power lift gate. And there is the space behind the third row. You can see if it's folded down, that's the space you get, and if it's up, that's the space you get. So nice comparison there. And I believe, okay, you only get it on the middle seat, but the third row or the second row gets the top tethers on the back of all 3 of the seats, with this one having the, I'd say more rare bench seat in the second row. So 8 passengers set up here, which I like that in terms of the flexibility. And again, you can fold all this down and have more cargo space. And then you have a little bit of space down here. Now, as we come back around to the rear passenger side, you can do several things with these seats. You can pull this up, and then that'll allow you to get better access to the third row. And then you can fold it flat here. And then you can hit that to get it all the way flat. And then this actually moves the seat forward and back. So you 1, 2 to fold it flat, and then you can just pull this to move the seat forward and back. And then your lower anchors underneath here. And then this does allow you to recline just a tad as well if you push it back when you pull that lever. Now the back's pretty tinted here, so you won't be able to see most of this, but I'm gonna try and get as close as possible. Yeah, you're probably not gonna be able to see that, but 11 speaker JBL sound system, wireless CarPlay, Android Auto. Most importantly, $53,007 is the sticker price, and there are your fuel economy numbers there. Now our front passenger seat, we do get a power seat back, seat bottom, lockable glove compartment down here with the owner's manuals, and then a top pocket there. As we come back around to the front, just a quick look in the engine bay. And there's that 2.4 liter turbocharged 4-cylinder. Messed that up. And then to the blinkers. So again, one of the things I'm gonna like about getting a refresh here is we'd have more LEDs. The blinkers on these are not LED except for the side mirror there, which they're not hideous, but let's go ahead and hop in the driver's seat. So I want to say this is soft Chex wrap, the steering wheel is, but if you want to call it leather, it doesn't really matter. There's the horn. We get the updated screen here, so if you want to use the Experience Drive Connect for the Cloud Nav, Destination Assist, or Intelligent Assistant, you can do that. Audio sources include AM, FM, XM. You also get Apple Music and Amazon Music if you link those up. Bluetooth menu there. And then your climate in the menu here. Most of your buttons and knobs are down below, and I'll show you in a minute, but you have a few up top here. And then your vehicle alerts, your trip info, and then in your settings, general settings, language and units of measurement are right there. If you want to adjust your sound levels and all that, you can do that as well. Backup cameras here, guidelines follow you as you turn the steering wheel. You also get that bird's eye view, which is nice. And then you have a volume knob here. You can turn it up or down, turn the audio source off by hitting the button. And then over here, dual zone automatic climate controls. You have the windshield de-icer, 3-stage heated cooled seats. Then we can set the auto mode here and then adjust that by turning the fan speed down. And you have your AC you can turn on or off there as well. Your S-Flow, you can cut off the back vent so most of the air, or all the air is coming up here. And then you have a button for the rear climate, and then you can adjust the rear climate there, which I like. Hazards here, wireless charging pad, USB-A input. Now this connects directly to your radio. These two USB-Cs are for charging. 12 volt right there. Bottle holders are in the middle. And then for the shifter, push this button here, park, reverse, neutral drive. You can come over here, you get an actual manual mode, so you can use that and shift the gears of the 8-speed. And you can see what gear you're in that middle part of the gauge cluster where it says M1. And then for your drive modes, you have Eco, Normal, Sport, and then with this one being all-wheel drive, you can go to Rock and Dirt or Mud and Sand. You get a nice animation there as you go between those, and then you can just push in for the normal mode right there. Now here you have your downhill brake control, snow mode, traction control, automatic brake hold, and then your electronic parking brake. Pull up to engage, hit the brake, press down to disengage. Center console cubby space here, you can push that back. Removable tray. You have a 12 volt down in there. It's kind of dark, but I like that you can kind of slide this forward and back. Now here, push the sunshade back. You can tilt or slide the roof, so I'm just gonna one-touch slide it there. Hit it a second time, goes all the way behind that shade. But there's a look at the back seat from up here. Those buttons are there, lights, sunglasses holder, and then you have that rear visor right there. Garage door transmitters integrated in that rear view mirror. And there's your vanity mirror. But back up front, blinker, high beams. It's kind of hard to see with the steering wheel in the way. And then you have your auto low beams, fog lights, right side stalk, one time off, intermittent low, high. You can adjust that intermittent frequency here, and your rear wiper intermittent on. Push back for the rear fluid, pull up for the front. left side of the steering wheel, these 4 arrows go through the middle part of the gauge cluster. So you can change the views there, and then you can hold. And then once you hold, you can go over to the side and adjust what's shown here, or go to the middle and adjust all of that. And volume controls, voice recognition, audio sources toggle, and you can go through your track list or radio station presets depending on where you are. And then you have your cruise here, radar cruise, and then you can hold it to go to constant speed and vice versa. Well, actually, radar cruise there, then hold it to go to constant speed, then you turn it off and turn it back on for the radar cruise. I apologize for that. But lane tracing assist is here. Gap adjust for the adaptive cruise is there. Set the speed, cancel. Push button starts here. Finally, here's the key fob. But next, let's go ahead and take this 2025 Highlander Limited with all-wheel drive out on the road for a test drive. So starting the test drive in this Highlander, used to the 3.5 V6 in the older models. We got this 2.4 turbo the past couple of years, but I really like this engine. It's relatively peppy. You have the different drive modes you can kind of change in terms of how the engine works. And it actually does a really good job at getting up to speed. You get a bit better fuel economy. But I just like that it's at least as capable as the older V6 for the most part. When you think of the tow capacity, acceleration, things of that nature. But I also like the manual mode as well. Yeah, it's very fun. And the shifts are perfect. They're not too like overly quick, but you know, it shifts when it tells you to. Or it shifts when you tell it to, excuse me. We're gonna put it in eco mode here. I'm gonna try to get a wider angle. Now the vehicle itself is relatively comfortable, I think. It rides pretty nicely. It drives normally, so it doesn't feel overly plush. It doesn't feel overly harsh. It's just very normal. I like that about it. The ride quality is good, but it's still something where you can feel the road. I think it's one of the closer vehicles to driving a minivan in a good way. I love my van because it floats down the road. The steering is relatively precise, but it's still not like too stiff. It's not flimsy at all. And that's how this one feels. This feels a bit more like the RAV4 with that flimsy steering than my Pacifica Hybrid, but it's closer to my van than it is that RAV4, I think. This is like a minivan with RAV4 tendencies. And that's a good thing because a lot of people like how the RAV4s drive. And if you like that, this you'll get used to a bit of a stiffer steering feel, but it's not gonna be like night and day. Now the eco mode, when you're driving that, I just noticed that as I came out of the almost stop I came to there, it's a bit more hesitant to get up to speed, but it's what you'd expect from the eco mode. It doesn't want you to dump fuel as you're coming out of a stop like it might in a sport mode or something like that. So it's meant to help you maintain your fuel economy. Same thing if you're coming from like 30 miles an hour and you're trying to get up to speed. It just kind of lets you slowly get up to speed if you're giving the pedal just a little tap. Now if you do put your foot down, it will go, don't get me wrong. But I think Toyota really knocked it out of the park with this when they first brought it to market in 2020. And that's why you haven't seen that many changes over 5-6 years, because it's still relatively modern. A few things that they did update, they updated it to keep up with the rest of the lineup, and they did a great job doing that. The digital display is fantastic. Love the screen. Love that we have the buttons and knobs for 90% of the climate controls. And it still feels nice in here. It feels very nice in this limited trim. Now I'm gonna put it into the sport mode now. And we're gonna try to give it a little pull getting up to speed here in a minute. Here we go. So I mean, it's a pretty quick vehicle, again, for it to have a turbo 4. Now, I do want to give one more big thanks to John Roberts Toyota here in Manchester, Tennessee, for allowing me to review this vehicle today. I'll leave a link below in the description. If you are looking to find the best price on one of these closer to home, click that second or third link down below if you're wanting a new or used one. And I'll make sure you get the best price and get the local dealers competing to get you whatever you're trying to get. But I think this is a pretty good vehicle for the money. I mean, you have the 8-passenger setup here, which is great. If you don't want the bench seat, you get the standard 7-passenger setup with the captain's chairs and the limited. But it's just a nice riding vehicle. You can kind of hear the sound acoustics if I shut my mouth for a minute. But that's at 72 miles per hour. It's you know, it's just a very nice, comfortable ride. It's nothing too much when you're driving down the road. It's not too quiet, but it just gives you a nice, comfortable ride, and you're able to get the best out of your road trip when you're getting that 28 miles per gallon highway. But I love the lane tracing assistance, so good, because it's just so nice to be able to take your hands off the wheel. The vehicle is doing all the driving for you. That's not recommended, but when available, I like to do that, especially don't tell anybody while I'm eating. So it's nice to have that lane centering and adaptive cruise, especially when you take the same routes. You kind of know what your car is going to do. But that was kind of a joke. But again, I think this is just a great package here. All-wheel drive capability, the different drive modes you can go through. You have the sunroof, tons of space in these, and it's just a really nice vehicle, even though this body style is older than most in the segments. When you think about the Ford Explorer, the Santa Fe, the Chevy Traverse, everybody else has had a recent redesign or refresh, but the Highlander's still keeping it real, I think, in my opinion. And with all that being said, this will bring me to the end of my review of this 2025 Toyota Highlander in the limited trim.